Origins of currency in ancient Greece. The 1986 Greek 10 drachma coin featuring Democritus stands not only as a tribute to one of the most significant philosophers of antiquity, but also as a tangible reflection of Greece's long and intricate relationship with currency. To truly understand the coin's historical weight, one must trace the ancient roots of coinage in the Greek world. The story of currency in Greece is not merely an economic tale, but a vivid narrative of innovation, identity, exchange, and influence that spans millennia. The emergence of coinage, a Greek innovation. Coinage, as a form of standardized currency, first appeared around the 7th century BCE in the region of Lydia, modern-day Western Turkey. The Lydians minted coins of electrum, a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver, and were among the first to assign fixed values to their money. However, it was the Greeks who embraced and refined coinage into a versatile economic and cultural tool. Within a short span, Greek city-states, polis, adopted the use of coins, developing diverse systems that reflected local political, religious, and cultural values. By the early 6th century BCE, Greek coins were being minted in Aegina, Corinth, and Athens. Each city-state developed its own distinctive symbols. These emblems were more than decorative. They were statements of pride and authority. The Athenian owl, tetradrachm, featuring the owl of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, became a universally recognized standard throughout the Mediterranean world. The Greek approach to coinage was deeply interwoven with their sense of polis identity. Eventually, this measurement evolved into a standard coin, the drachma. By the classical period, 5th century BC, the drachma had become a prominent denomination in the Greek monetary system. Early drachmae were silver coins, often weighing around 4.3 grams, although the exact weight could vary slightly depending on the issuing polis. The silver was usually sourced from local mines, most famously from the Laurium mines near Athens, which provided the raw material for the coins that funded the Athenian navy and fueled its empire. Greek coinage was typically issued in multiple denominations. Obol, 1/6 drachma. Drachma, tetradrachm, for drachmae. Decadrachm, 10 drachmae. This range allowed coins to serve a broad array of economic functions, from buying a loaf of bread to paying a soldier's wage. Function and purpose of Greek coins. Coins were initially minted for official transactions, primarily to pay state employees, soldiers, and tribute. However, their usage quickly spread to the broader population. Greek coinage facilitated internal trade, external commerce, and political alliances. It allowed a polis to assert its dominance, not just through force but through economic influence. Importantly, coins were portable pieces of political messaging. They featured portraits of gods, goddesses, civic symbols, and victorious generals. The imagery was carefully chosen. For example, Athens chose Athena and her owl. Corinth favored Pegasus, the winged horse. Rhodes often used the radiating sun to represent the island's dedication to the sun god Helios. Such symbolism underscored the interconnectedness of religion, politics, and commerce in the Greek world. Spread of Hellenic coinage across the ancient world. As Greek colonies and trade expanded across the Mediterranean and Black Sea, so did their coins. Hellenic coinage reached as far west as Spain and as far east as the Persian Empire and India. This spread was accelerated by Alexander the Great, whose conquests in the 4th century BC unified a massive swath of territory under Greek-influenced culture. Alexander's coinage, featuring himself as a heroic figure or as Heracles, was minted in enormous quantities. His silver tetradrachms were widely used and continued to circulate for generations after his death. His successors, the Diadochi, maintained these designs, ensuring continuity and acceptance in far-reaching markets. Thus, Greek coins became a lingua franca of economic and political life in the ancient world. They were not just currency. They were instruments of diplomacy and vehicles of ideology. Artistry and innovation. Perhaps one of the most striking aspects of ancient Greek coinage is the artistry involved. Coins were not mass-produced in the way we think of modern minting. Each die was hand-carved by skilled artisans. The level of detail achieved, on something barely larger than a thumbprint, is astonishing even by today's standards. The obverse and reverse designs were often complex and rich in narrative. Mythological scenes, battles, portraits, and religious ceremonies adorned the coin faces. These miniature works of art served not only as money, but as a public museum of collective memory. Economy and coinage, a symbiotic relationship. The introduction and proliferation of coinage transformed the Greek economy. While barter systems never fully disappeared, coins made market exchanges more fluid. They enabled the development of professions, the regulation of taxation, and the growth of long-distance trade. Coinage also influenced social structure. Wages were now paid in standardized units, making economic mobility and wealth accumulation more transparent, though not necessarily more equitable. In many ways, coinage helped lay the groundwork for later economic theory. Greek thinkers like Aristotle and Xenophon wrote about money, value, and trade, while their works are rudimentary by modern standards. The drachma through the ages, from ancient mint to modern memory. The Greek drachma is one of the oldest known currencies in the world, with its roots embedded deeply in the ancient Hellenic world and its legacy continuing until the early 21st century. Spanning more than 2,600 years in various forms, the drachma represents more than just a means of trade. It stands as a symbol of Greek continuity, identity, and resilience. In this section, we will trace the journey of the drachma through ancient times, its eclipse under Roman and Byzantine rules, its rebirth in the modern Greek state, and its final transformation into a collector's artifact following Greece's entry into the Eurozone. The classical drachma, an ancient currency for a city-state world. The drachma emerged in the 6th century BCE as a silver coin minted by Greek city-states. It was a pivotal component in daily life, political affairs, and international trade. As discussed in Part 1, Athens' silver mines at Laurium provided the bullion for massive minting operations. The Athenian tetradrachm, weighing about 17 grams and bearing the image of Athena and her owl, became an international currency of the ancient world. The drachma facilitated mercenary wages, temple offerings, taxes, and dowries. In some contexts, it took on a quasi-sacred aura. Coins bearing images of deities or city founders conveyed ideological legitimacy and cultural pride. Beyond Athens, other polis issued their own drachmae. Though local variations in weight and design existed, a general understanding of its value and form emerged across the Mediterranean. This regional stability laid the foundation for wide acceptance, and eventually, Hellenistic kingdoms continued using drachma-based coinage systems after Alexander's empire fragmented Hellenistic and Roman era, adapting to empire. After Alexander the Great's death in 323 BCE, his empire split into various Hellenistic kingdoms, the Seleucids, Ptolemies, and Antigonids. These rulers continued minting coins using the drachma system, but adapted iconography to reinforce their own legitimacy. The imagery of deified rulers and divine emblems was a powerful tool in maintaining political cohesion in culturally diverse territories. The Roman conquest of Greece in the 2nd century BC gradually integrated the Greek monetary system into that of the broader Roman Empire. Roman authorities initially allowed the continued minting of Greek-style drachmae in the eastern provinces to ease the transition. These provincial coins often featured Greek inscriptions but were officially Roman in origin. Eventually, the Roman denarius and aureus displaced the drachma in most formal contexts. However, the drachma lingered in use in certain regions, particularly where Greek cultural influence remained strong. Byzantine adaptations, from silver to gold and bronze. The Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, retained a monetary system that evolved significantly from its classical roots. While the drachma itself was not a standard Byzantine denomination, its conceptual descendant, the drachman, continued as a weight measurement for precious metals. The primary Byzantine coin was the solidus, later called the numisma, a high-purity gold coin introduced by Constantine the Great in the 4th century CE. Bronze coins, such as the phallus, became essential for small transactions. The influence of Greek remained strong in inscriptions and script, but the symbols now reflected Christian iconography, crosses, saints, and emperors in divine postures. Although the drachma disappeared as a coin, its linguistic and cultural memory persisted. Greeks continued using the word drachma in literature and commerce long after the coin ceased production. Ottoman period, the long shadow of occupation. From the mid-15th century until the 19th century, much of Greece was under Ottoman rule. During this period, the official currency was the Ottoman aki, later replaced by other denominations like the kurush and lira. The Greek population had no national currency of its own. Despite this, traditional Greek terms for currency, such as drachma and obol, survived in everyday speech and folklore. This was less about economics and more about cultural continuity. Coins from earlier eras were sometimes hoarded, treasured, or repurposed into jewelry or religious offerings. Greek nationalism, which began brewing in the 18th century, drew on classical heritage. The memory of the drachma, as a symbol of independent Hellenic civilization, was part of this ideological revival. Modern rebirth. The drachma returns, 1832 to 2002. Following Greece's War of Independence, 1821 to 1830, the modern Greek state was officially recognized in 1832. One of the new nation's first priorities was establishing its own monetary system. The phoenix, introduced in 1828 by Ioannis Kapodistrias, was a short-lived currency that was replaced by the revived drachma in 1832 under King Otto of Bavaria. This marked the formal resurrection of the drachma after more than 1,400 years. The modern drachma was initially pegged to silver and minted in denominations of copper and silver coins, with banknotes added later. Early coin designs featured the monarch's portrait on the obverse and national symbols, such as the Greek cross, the phoenix, or Hercules on the reverse. Monetary evolution and wars. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, the drachma experienced multiple devaluations, revaluations, and transformations. Late 19th century, Greece joined the Latin Monetary Union, LMU, linking its currency to the gold standard used in other European countries. Balkan Wars and World War I. Inflation, war spending, and political instability weakened the drachma. World War II. Greece suffered one of the worst cases of hyperinflation in history during the Axis occupation, 1941 to 1944. At the peak of the crisis, prices doubled every few days. Post-war period. A new drachma replaced the old in 1944 at a rate of 50 billion to 1. Further revaluations followed, particularly in the 1950s and 1960s. During these turbulent decades, the drachma was more than just a currency. It was a symbol of national recovery and resilience. The 1980s context, the era of the 10 drachma coin. By the 1980s, the drachma was the standard unit of currency in Greece. While inflation remained a concern, the country was also experiencing increased political stability and modernization, especially after joining the European Economic Community, EC, in 1981. The 1986 10 drachma coin, featuring Democritus, was minted during this era. It represents a deliberate effort by the Greek state to reconnect with its classical heritage. The choice of Democritus, known for his atomic theory, and the atomic symbol on the reverse were nods to both ancient philosophy and modern science. This coin was one of several issued with cultural themes in the 1980s and 1990s. These included coins with portraits of historical figures like Solon, lawmaker; Pericles, statesman; Aristotle, philosopher; Hippocrates, father of medicine. These coins were educational, nationalistic, and functional, all at once. Final chapter. The euro replaces the drachma. In 2001, Greece adopted the euro as its official currency. By January 1st, 2002, euro banknotes and coins replaced the drachma, ending nearly 170 years of modern drachma usage. The exchange rate was fixed at 340.75 drachma to 1 euro. The decision to join the euro was controversial at the time and remains debated. While it promised economic integration and modernization, it also meant giving up national control over monetary policy, a topic that would become highly sensitive during the European debt crisis in the following decade. The drachma today: memory, heritage, and numismatics. Today, the drachma lives on in memory, literature, museum collections, and private coin stashes. It remains a beloved symbol of Greek sovereignty. Many Greeks, especially older generations, still make conversions to drachma equivalents in casual speech. Collectors around the world seek Greek drachma coins, particularly those from the classical and Hellenistic periods, the early 19th century mintings, commemorative editions from the 20th century, such as the 1986 Democritus coin. In museums, the drachma is showcased as a link between classical ideals and modern identity. In economic textbooks, it's used to discuss currency reform, inflation, and monetary union. The drachma's journey, from ancient obol bundles to modern alloy coins, represents a full arc of cultural and economic development.